Well, today we're going to check out Logos 10 Reformed Diamond Package, and I'm going to share with you how I'm using this to attempt to crush my seminary courses, and let's see if this package is right for you. Now, I'm going to break this review up into two sections. First, we're going to go over what you get with a Reformed Diamond Package in Logos. I'll show you some of the other options that are available, and then the second half, I'm going to show you specifically how I'm using Logos to help me in seminary, whether it's to researching for online discussions, studying for exams, or in particular, writing papers. That's where I feel like there is a lot of time saved. Let's jump right in and look at Logos 10 Reformed Diamond. So first of all, what I share with folks, when you buy a Logos package, you're getting two specific things. First, you're getting a digital library. So in this case, they're showing us 2,050 digital books included with Logos 10 Reformed Diamond. And then secondly, you're getting a software set of tools and features. Now, I'm not going to be able to go over every book, all 2,000 books here, or every feature, but I'm going to show you some of the top ones. And then if you're interested, click the link in the description. You can look specifically through all the books and all the features. Now, pricing here, this is showing pricing for a non-Logos user. So if you don't have Logos whatsoever, to get Logos 10 Reformed Diamond, 2,000 books, and all those features, it is $2,759. Now that is significantly expensive. However, that's just over $1 a book, plus you are gonna get all those software features. If you are already a Logos user, they will give you dynamic pricing. So for example, I already had a Logos Gold package, and to upgrade, it was showing me the dynamic pricing. Since I already had a number of those tools and resources, it was $1,500, and that added about 1,500 books to my library. They do offer a monthly option, so $120 a month you can pay if you want to get Logos 10 Reformed Diamond, or it'll be cheaper if you already own a Logos package. Now, in particular, this software set is for those who are it tells us right here, it is designed for preachers, seminary students, and seminary professors. Now, if that does not describe you, you may want to consider moving down a package if you are not in full-time ministry or studying to be in full-time ministry. They have some other packages more specifically designed for those categories. Now, if you do not want a Reformed package, this is a denominational package. They have other denominations represented. I'll put them up here on the screen. They have specific packages, or you can even just get their general Bible study packages as well, and not specifically to a denomination. Now, for me, being in a Reformed seminary, it made sense to get a Reformed package. I was looking through all the books that are in here. A number of these books I was going to need to buy for seminary anyway. So the way I looked at it, and what I actually did was had a friend who just graduated from my seminary. I had him look through all the books and say, do you think I'm going to need a bunch of these? Now, of course, I also can look up my syllabuses and see what required books are. And he said he thought this was definitely well worth it. It's going to save me probably $400 or $500 from books I had to buy anyway. So in a lot of sense, as a seminary student, this made sense. So let's look real quick at some of the big dollar books that are included in this series. So first, they're going to show us here right at the top, what are some of these big series. We've got the New Studies in Biblical Theology series collection. That is 53 volumes. We can actually look that up right here. So if you were to go on Logos and simply buy that package, it's $846 just to get this one series. That is included in the Reformed Diamond. Let's scroll down here and I'll show us specifically, here's all of the specific volumes that are included in that series. Okay, so that's just one. We'll go back here. The next one they're telling us about is the IVP Bible Dictionary in 8 volumes. We can go ahead and look at that. And pricing just on that alone is $250. And then let's look at maybe one more here. They're showing us Reformed Exposition Commentary. Oh, two more. Reformed Exposition Commentary. And that is a $500 commentary set, 34 volumes. Now, if you look at the print book cost of these, usually looking up these commentary sets, they are anywhere from $25 to $40 per book. So if you want to go buy these in book form, it is going to be extremely expensive. 30 times 34, you're probably over $900 or $1,000 to get these in actual book form. And then the last one here, we can look at Barth's Church Dogmatics, 31 volumes. And to buy that on Logos is $119 just by itself if you don't get the package. And again, in book form, it's going to be pretty expensive. Now, if this is a little too pricey for you, then let me recommend you go down to Logos Gold. We can look here real quick at Logos Gold. So here is under the Reformed category, Reformed denomination. They've got starter, bronze, silver, and gold. and then down here, platinum, and diamond is what we're looking at today, and then portfolio, and it's going to show me my pricing here. So $2,700 we said for the diamond. Gold, $1,200, so about half of that if you go with gold. The reason I'm going to recommend gold is that one of the software features available is something called the print library feature. If you're like me and you already have a ton of actual books that you already have been using, you've already been studying. So for example, here's one I need for my seminary. Pretty much every New Testament class, they have us read A Biblical Theological Introduction to the New Testament. Now this book is not included in the Reformed Diamond package. However, if I go over here to Logos, they have a print library feature. You take your phone, open the Logos app, scan the books you actually own, and boom, it's available in Logos. Now, it's not going to let me read the book like I could my other Logos books, but what it is going to let me do is search the book. So when you got to write a paper or you got to do an online discussion or something and find quotes that you remember from the book that you read, well, you can now search it in Logos, and then you can also copy paste into the papers that you're writing. It'll do your footnotes and things like that. So the print library feature that comes with the gold package is worth its weight in gold. Yeah. Sorry. So I would recommend the gold package. Come down here to diamond, and you can see we're getting more than double the books in diamond, but it is also more than double the price. Let's talk a little bit more about some of the other books that you're going to find. And if you click the link in the description, you can look through all the specific books that are going to be included. The first thing it's going to show us is that we get 19 English Bibles. Why would we want 19 English Bibles? You already have a copy of the ESV, I imagine, if you're in a Reformed seminary or a Reformed pastor. So let's open the ESV. And there you go. So we can read the ESV. We can go to wherever we want in the Bible. But this is made for studying, not just reading. So let me show you some fun study tools that we can have. We can actually pull up our interlinear, and there we've got our English word, the corresponding Greek word right below it, and we've got our parsing right below that. This is helpful because you can very quickly do a word study, see our lemma of the Greek word, and then we can do a quick word study if we would like. Okay, so this is very helpful for studying. And then the other reason to have a whole bunch of English translations is we can do the text comparison, which I really enjoy. So here we've got 1 Peter 2:11, and then boom, Logos is going to show me all my English translations that I have and how they translate that. And then we can also come up here and click Show Differences, and now it is going to show me specifically what are the differences in these various English translations. Right now I've got this based on the ESV, so it's showing me the ESV as my default, and then down here we have our other translations and how different they are. Now, another thing that is worth mentioning, if you are in seminary, Logos does have an academic discount. So it's typically showing me a 20 to 30% discount on those Logos books when I need to buy an individual book for my classes. I have found that buying a Logos book tends to be 10 to 30% cheaper than getting a print book or a Kindle book. A lot of times I'll grab Kindle, or another good thing to do is you find a friend who went through seminary, buy their books used. I've also done that quite a bit as well. So the academic discount can also be very helpful. And if you're new to Logos, let's check out one of the key features, and that is going to be our passage guide. So whenever we're studying a passage of Scripture, I like to start with the passage guide. So in this case, we are in 1 Peter 2:11, and then it is going to break down for me a number of specific ways that I can study this passage. So first it starts with my commentaries, and it's going to give me a long list of the commentaries that I have. And one of the things that you can do is you can actually prioritize the resources that you prefer. So my commentaries that tend to be on the top, these are ones that I have prioritized in the past. And then we come down here, journals. So it's going to show me my academic journals. Now, this is one of the reasons this package is specifically for those who are in seminary or a seminary professor. So I know in one of my first research papers that I had to write, they wanted us to be citing journals. Now, Logos made that very easy because this package comes with a number of journals that I could look at and reference. And so when I was searching or when I was in the passage guide, it will quickly show me the journal articles that correspond to that passage. Important words. Now, what I like about this too, we're just looking at one verse in 1 Peter, and it's going to show me the words that it thinks are important, and I can very quickly, so epithemia, this is lust or desire, and it's going to pull this up and I can quickly do a word study. The word study is extremely important for your papers or for preaching. So here is our Greek word, and this is how the ESV translates that word: passions, lust, covet, earnestly longed, and desire. I can click the word right here. It'll show me every use of that word, 38 occurrences, 18 of which are desire, or I can look specifically. So if we want to see just lust, for example, here's 3 uses of that word for lust. Romans 1:24, therefore God gave them up in the lust of their hearts, and so on. You can do word studies like that. The word studies are extremely important if you're doing Bible study or if you're doing a research paper on a biblical theme or preaching specifically on a topic. Okay, let's look now specifically how Logos is helping me in seminary. So you get in seminary, and one of the things that they are going to have you do is write papers, lots of papers. Logos really helps me out, and it makes that a lot easier. Now, I had to write a paper on the concept of truth in the Gospel of John, and so I'll show you a few of those resources that I use. Here's our favorites. So click favorites, come down here. Now, here was the favorite that I made for my truth paper. Now, if you are going to research and look at, say, 30 to 40 different books, and you're in a library and you're going to spread those books all over a table, and you're going to be taking notes and highlighting and pulling out certain quotes that you want to use in your paper, that's awesome. And Logos is going to let me do that, but instead of having books spread all across my desk, they're going to be in my desktop. And I can use this favorites feature to, whenever I am looking at something, so say I'm in my commentary right here, and I want to remember this right here, I'm just going to drag my commentary right over to my truth, and boom. Now it's always going to go back right where I was when I was doing that study. Now I actually don't want that in there, so let's delete that one. But that was just to show you an example. So the first thing, I was doing a study on the word truth in the Gospel of John. Our Greek word is aletheia. So let me show you here. This is searching for the Greek word aletheia, and Logos is going to show me I've got 4,887 results in 3,000 articles and 256 resources. Now that's overwhelming, but what I can do is it's going to show me, now first of all, the majority of these show up in the Bible. But I can come down here, like I told you, I needed journal articles. So I've got 49 journal results, and it's going to show me, here's our Greek word that I'm searching for. Here is the journal title. I'm just scroll down here until we find one. Twofold Office of Apologetics. Here's our Greek word. I can click on that, and what it's going to do is it shows me that journal article, and then it's going to highlight everywhere my search term shows up. This makes my research very quick. So we'll come down here. Let me get rid of the journals. I was able to quickly come up with a couple journal articles, and then when you find, we're going to grab our clippings here. This is my clippings document. Now, clippings is whenever you find something that you like, highlight it, and then come over here to my clippings. I'm going to hit add clipping. And so as I'm doing my research, I'm looking at commentaries, I'm looking at books, I'm looking at journals, academic papers, whatever you want to look at. And when you find quotes that you want to keep or quotes that you're going to insert, you have to make sure that you do your bibliography, make sure you do your footnotes properly. Now, Logos is going to do all of that stuff for me. So here's a quote that I took that had the word aletheia in it, and it is from a commentary. And let me hit my info here. And boom, there's my footnote. I can now copy my footnote and I can paste it directly into the paper that I'm writing. So what I did was all of my quotes that I wanted to include in my paper, I included here in my clippings. And if I didn't use it, I would just add a note and I would put did not use, and then I could keep that. And if I used it later in the paper, I would get rid of that note so I knew what was to be included. Now what that allowed me to do, when I was done with my paper, not only was I copying and pasting my footnotes in as I was writing, but my professor requires me to have a bibliography. This is where this is going to save you a ton of time, because I can say export, save as bibliography. Okay, so here's my bibliography now, all right? So I can copy, paste that, I can print that, I can do whatever I need to do, and this is the style that my seminary requires my footnotes to be in and my bibliography. You can change that if your seminary has a different style. So in writing papers, Logos is saving me a ton of time, but the other way Logos is really helping me with seminary is most of the books that I'm required to read in seminary are Logos books. So let me go ahead and pull one up that I had been reading for my church history class. So grab library here. So Readings in Christian Thought was one of the books assigned for my church history class. And let's open that in a floating window. And I can search this resource if I want. So as we're doing online discussions, which my history professor would require, he would ask specific questions about specific readings. And so this search feature was very, very helpful. And then as I'm going and reading, just like a Kindle book or whatever, you can highlight the passages that are important. And if you know you're going to have to write a paper, you can start adding those to a clippings document. So we had to write a paper on one of the resources that he required for us. So I was saving clippings as I was doing my reading during the semester, so that when it came time to sit down and write that paper, I already had my footnotes there. I had everything that I needed to begin to write that paper. So having to read your books in Logos can be very helpful and time saving. Now, I don't prefer to read on the computer, but if you have an iPad, Logos works very well on an iPad. You can read. So usually if I want to read a commentary for a specific passage that I'm preparing either to study or to preach on, I will do my searching on my laptop. I'll find the commentary that I want to read, grab the iPad. I can sit down, do my reading, do all my highlights, copy whatever you want to copy. When you get back on the desktop, it will all be there for you. Now, I have been a Logos fanboy since about 2007 when I purchased my first package. Being in full-time ministry was extremely helpful for me preparing sermons and doing weekly Bible study. I found the software to be excellent. If you're interested in checking out Logos for yourself, click the link in the description. That will bring up this specific package that we were talking about, and you can peruse their website, see if you think this package is right for you. Let me know in the comments if you think that this series and this specific package would be right for you. How do you think you could use Logos to help you in your study or in your ministry? This is Jason for Soulfire. I'll catch you in the next one.